Coming up next, updates on major trials across the state. And
are you exercising? Do you have a good diet? Is your weight in good control? Not smoking?
We've got the tips that'll help you avoid a heart attack. All that and more tonight on Fox 5.
Your first local news at 9 starts right now, only on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. New developments to report tonight in the case of a Montana teacher abducted while jogging in January. Prosecutors now filing murder charges and are planning to seek the death penalty for 2 men accused of kidnapping and killing Sherry Arnold. 48-year-old Lester Waters Jr. and 22-year-old Michael Spell are accused of kidnapping Arnold while she was jogging on the street near her home in Sidney back on the early morning of January 7th. Arnold's body was found many weeks later buried near Williston, North Dakota. An affidavit filed by prosecutors today includes an alleged jailhouse confession by Spell, where he says he choked Arnold and held her face underwater to make sure she was dead. The 2 suspects remain jailed in Sidney. Parole has been rejected again for a Montana man who abducted a world-class athlete back in 1984 to keep her as a wife for his son. 81-year-old Don Nichols will stay in prison after the decision at today's parole hearing in Deer Lodge. Nichols and his son abducted biathlete Carrie Swenson while she was jogging near Big Sky. The men lived off the land in the mountains at the time. They later shot and injured Swenson before killing a man who tried to rescue her. This was the 3rd parole hearing for Don Nichols. His son Dan was released from prison after serving 6 years for the crime. Jurors heard more testimony today in the trial of David Hyslop as the state attempts to prove he murdered 2-year-old October Perez last summer. Fox 5's Charlie Keegan sat in on today's proceedings.
Emily, prosecutors played the initial interrogation of Hyslop to the jury. In the video, 2 detectives listen as Hyslop repeatedly changes his story, first saying he has no idea what happened to October Perez, then finally saying he dropped her.
I swear to God, I did not do nothing crazy. I put that on everything.
The 4-hour-long video starts with Hyslop in the room by himself talking to his girlfriend, October's mother. Then GFPD detectives Noah Scott and Doug Otto enter, starting off with light conversation.
Yeah, she's a beautiful little girl. She's a sweetheart.
You love Esther?
Yes, I do.
What,
I look like mom. She looks nice.
Hyslop tells them he woke up around noon, fetched October, watched TV with her, and put her down for a nap. The detectives don't buy it, and Hyslop continues to come up with excuses, saying she fell down the stairs, she ran into the counter, she bruises easily.
I'm not saying anything that happened to her was meant to hurt that child, okay? But I do know that something happened.
Then police show him pictures of October.
This is Toby how she is right now. When David, I want you to go, David, don't cover your eyes. I want you to look.
He then tells them he dropped her while putting her down for a nap.
So I just let her go, tell you that she was on her bed. She fell.
Detectives still question his story, handing him a doll so he can show them how it happened.
Like that.
If it was an accident, detectives wonder why Hyslop didn't call an ambulance right away, and why he didn't explain what happened to paramedics after they arrived on scene or at the hospital.
Freaked out, thinking Chris was going to leave me and everything, and I was going to lose her and October and everybody.
Interrogators tell him October will most likely die, and surgeons need information about what happened to save her.
This is where it's time to step up to the plate.
Hyslop maintained he dropped the girl while tossing her into bed, even after detectives tell him he's going to jail. In the video, the detectives didn't buy his story because they say October's injuries didn't match Hyslop's claims that she fell on the concrete floor. And in the morning, more experts and detectives testified. A toxicologist said that Hyslop's blood contained evidence of marijuana use. The trial will resume on Monday, and we'll have complete coverage next week. Charlie Keegan, Fox 5.
Thank you, Charlie. Moving into weather, Chief Meteorologist Adam Coslin is here with a first look at our forecast.
Well, good evening. We've seen rain and quite a bit of it in some areas. This will mix with, switch over to snow, and coming up in your Fox weather first, we'll look at winter warnings. Now, don't worry, these are just for the higher elevations, so the mountains could certainly see some hefty snow. Meanwhile, there's winter advisories for the plains, where we could pick up an inch or maybe 2 or 3 in some areas. We'll show you where, as well as flood advisories. There's been wind warnings and advisories also issued recently. We'll check on all you need to know and your weekend forecast and your weather authority. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Adam. The Republican-led House voting to take money from President Obama's health care reform program to pay for an extension of low-interest student loans. President Obama says he'd veto the bill despite his efforts to help limit student debt. The vote was 215 to 194, with most Democrats voting no because they oppose taking money from programs for immunizations and health screening. About 30 Republicans also voted no because they oppose federal subsidies for student loans. The bill unlikely to reach the president's desk. Democrats who control the Senate say they won't allow it. The interest rates of these staffer loans are set to double on July 1st from 3.4% to 6.8%. More than 7 million students would be affected. Lawyers for George Zimmerman back in a Florida courtroom today. The original purpose of the hearing was to discuss the request to unseal court documents to the media. Instead, the hearing focused on the roughly $200,000 raised for Zimmerman's bail. The money was raised by a website set up for Zimmerman's legal defense, an issue that could have affected the judge's decision on a bail amount. Zimmerman's lawyers say they only learned about the money this Wednesday.
Though the money was available, and to suggest that they thought it was available to them for whatever use, you granted bond Friday morning. It took us until Sunday for them to come up with the money. My understanding is a small amount, $5,000 was from that account, but what they did not do is walk out of here on Friday and cut a check for $150,000, which they may have been able to do, or anything.
I heard about it last night, too. I would submit that that is a change in circumstance regarding the bond, and I would ask the court to address it appropriately. In that the family members represented that they had no money, when in truth they really did. So I don't know if they did that intentionally or what, but so I would submit that there's a change in circumstance regarding bond, and I would ask the court to consider possibly raising the bond.
Last week, a judge set bond for Zimmerman at $150,000. Zimmerman was released from jail this week after posting 10% of that. The judge now says he must know who controls the account before he can rule on whether or not to change the bail amount. Zimmerman faces second-degree murder charges in the February shooting death of Sanford teenager Trayvon Martin. There is a lot you can do to prevent a heart attack. Dr. David Frid of the Cleveland Clinic says the first key is to recognize your risk factors. The next is to consider which are treatable, like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and diabetes, and which are related to your lifestyle.
Whether it's making sure you walk 10,000 steps a day, whether you're exercising for a total of 30 minutes a day, even if you do those in spurts, so 5 or 10 minute spurts throughout the day, all of that seems to be related to reducing your risk of heart disease.
Fred says a lack of sleep can also contribute to the development of heart disease. He says it's important to keep your stress under control as well. Finally, he reminds everyone eating a diet low in salt, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and refined sugars will also decrease your risk. Child care options for some college students in Great Falls are about to increase. Pacific Steel and Recycling's most recent donation to the MSU Great Falls College of Technology is enough for the school to begin construction of a child development center on campus. About 40% of MSU Great Falls students are parents, and the new facility will not only help those students, but also other parents looking to further their education.
The potential students in our area will come at an earlier stage because they've had to put off going back to school until their children are older because of the cost of child care. So we're hoping this opens some doors to parents that are ready to go to college, but they needed that help with child care.
This is an artist rendering of the new facility. The center will handle up to 88 children, ranging from infants to preschool. Current plans have the building near the Social Security office on the south side of campus. Groundbreaking will take place in the next 4 to 8 weeks. She has painted more than 100 art pieces, and she's only 12 years old. Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez is on the story. Ashley, is it true some are calling this Great Falls girl an art prodigy?
It is, Emily, and it was only by accident I learned about the young artist. While ordering food from a local restaurant, I commented on their artwork, and when the owner told me the pictures were painted by his daughter, I knew I had to meet her.
She's fluent in Cantonese and English, plays 3 instruments, receives straight A's, and is ambidextrous. Oh yeah, she's been a recognized artist since she was 6.
I love how water and flowers, how the texture is, and how how the colors combine together make another color.
When Meiji Lee was 6 years old, The Jay Leno Show asked her to interview, but her parents felt the prodigy was too young for national television.
I painted this when I was 6.
But now Meiji's parents, the owners of Chuck's Oriental Palace in Great Falls, are allowing the 12-year-old to explore her talent.
If you really love something, just go ahead and do it.
And Meiji loves to paint. Her work caught the attention of local art teachers, the Great Falls Tribune, and she's won awards at the Montana State Fair.
They drop their mouth and they go, "Oh my God." And they just compliment, and it's amazing.
Many of her pieces adorn her parents' restaurant, and although guests inquire about buying the art, Meiji hasn't duplicated her originals and won't sell anything just yet.
I've been thinking about being a doctor before.
Her talent isn't hereditary.
It's very good for me because I don't know how to draw, but she is very good.
Meiji's just special, and one day she'll share her rare gifts with the world.
You shouldn't be afraid of what you love, so just do it.
Meiji is competing for the Montana Ducks Unlimited Artist of the Year. The winner has their piece reprinted throughout the state. Among other competitors is local artist Robert Kircher. Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 5.
And a special thanks to our viewer Nancy. She was in eastern Montana and sent us this gorgeous picture of the skies there. And Emily, maybe you wouldn't mind if we kept the majority of the snow up in the mountains this weekend.
You know, I wouldn't have too big of a problem with that.
All right, well, there could be some travel hazards. We'll let you have a look at the latest winter storm warnings next and the advisories for us. Here's a closer look at this picture in tonight's Almanac.
Your Weather Authority forecast continues right now on Fox 5 at 9.
Welcome back. Here's our soggy tower cam or shower cam, call it either one tonight. Things starting to become cloudy in Great Falls. Let's take a look around the area, and this is where we find winter storm warnings. Also advisories here below, and the lower elevation certainly seeing the potential for an inch or two of snow and rain, but the real stuff's happening up in the higher elevations above 4,000 feet in the mountains. 8 to 16 inches of snow, and the roads will be dicey, low visibility, possible power outages because of a wet, heavy snow on top of trees and power lines, and stress to young livestock, something to keep in mind. These are out until 6 p.m. Saturday. Same time frame for the winter advisories. Elevations now below 4,000 feet, including Great Falls, maybe 1, 2, 3 inches of rain and snow. We'll keep it on the lighter side here. Gust of 45 miles per hour. Reduced visibilities, creating hazardous travel, or maybe any weekend plans you have for recreation. High wind warnings are out in Fergus County until 6 a.m. Shouldn't say midnight. That's for Saturday. Gusts to 60 miles per hour and reduced visibilities are possible. There's also flood advisories out because of melting snow as well as this additional rain. So Cascade, Fergus, Judith Basin counties, locations near the Highwood, Little Belt, and Big Snowy Mountains are impacted. Bears Paw, Highwood Mountain ranges in Blaine, Choteau, and Hill counties, and also the creeks around Cut Bank, Badger Creek, to Medicine River. Watching these areas until noon Saturday. So a lot of flooding potential out here. Snow showers on the map tonight. Have this in Bozeman tonight, and the rain beginning to lighten up around Glasgow. Lewistown also seeing that transition from the rain to the snow, and it looks like this is starting to occur along the I-15 corridor. So certainly in the higher elevations, going to be watching conditions quickly deteriorate. 41 in Great Falls, 37 in Cut Bank. Winds breezy at times, especially further off to the east. So our rain forecast amounts as high as a whole half to full inch of liquid projected in some areas. Snow is going to be heaviest in the mountains here. Elsewhere, it looks like amounts less than an inch for us in Great Falls. So 30s overnight, take you into the mid-40s tomorrow, rain before noon. Kind of stalling out with the temperatures. It's below average. Cut Bank, mid to upper 40s, rain and snow together at times. Same story for Glasgow, 49. Showers linger Sunday into Monday. It's breezy Tuesday. We're drying things out, warming it up next week. It'll take a few days, but we'll get there. 61 on Wednesday, 64 Thursday. Looks better and better by the end of the week. In Helena, Saturday, a mix of rain and snow, switching back to rain, so we're moving gears back up. 66 Monday and sunny Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Believe it or not, there is light at the end of the tunnel for those eliminated American Idol contestants. A bad romance between Lady Gaga and South Korea, and a party at the White House. That's in tonight's Entertainment Update.
If you missed last night's episode of American Idol, contestant Elise Testone got the boot, but this isn't exactly the end of the road for her. The American Idol Live Tour is returning this summer, showcasing Season 11's top 10 finalists. The tour kicks off July 6th. Tickets go on sale Friday, May 11th. Lady Gaga kicking off her Asian tour in South Korea with some bad reception. South Korean Christians calling on Gaga to cancel her concert, saying her music and performances are pornographic and promote homosexuality. The Christian Council of Korea threatening to boycott tour sponsor Hyundai, accusing the car company of promoting a, quote, obscene culture. The South Korean government has already buckled to public pressure, banning fans under 18 from attending the show. The stars heading to Washington for the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday. George Clooney, Reese Witherspoon, Lindsay Lohan, and Kim Kardashian are some of the celebs expected to attend. And that's your entertainment update.
Tom Wiley up next with sports, and unfortunately the weather has put a damper on some games that were scheduled for today.
Oh, kind of been a theme all spring long, it seems, Emily. You know, tough day to get out there on the field. The tennis courts, we had a Great Falls invite that was canceled. All the rain and cold that's hit us the past few days. Tomorrow, more of the same. But, of course, the world of sports never sleeps. There's always something going on. The NFL draft resumed today with the second round getting underway this afternoon. A few local athletes still waiting by the phone, hoping to get that big call, including Bobcats wideout Elvis Akpla. We'll get a chance to talk with him about potentially going to the next level. And if you think Akpla has talent, wait till you see a few Grizz athletes and what they're good at. All that and more coming up in sports.
Total sports coverage. Fox 5 Sports starts right now.
The interesting one is Trumaine Johnson, Montana, from the Grizzlies.
I look what the Rams did. They go out and they get another corner, Trumaine Johnson from Montana. He's basically a four-year starter.
That's Chris Berman and John Gruding raving about former Montana Grizzly defensive back Trumaine Johnson, who was drafted in the third round of the NFL draft, 65th overall by the St. Louis Rams, and first-year head coach Jeff Fisher. Johnson joins a crowded secondary in St. Louis with former Pro Bowler Cortland Finnegan and second-round pick Janoris Jenkins also on the roster. He'll be a part of a defense with a shaky future after Rams defensive coordinator Greg Williams was suspended indefinitely for his role in the Bounty Gate scandal. Also of note, Arizona State quarterback and Kalispell native Brock Osweiler. He'll back up Peyton Manning on the Denver Broncos after he was drafted with the 57th pick in the 22nd round. Well, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State, Marquise Colston, 7th round, Hofstra. Those guys turned out all right, didn't they? And they didn't go to the big-time schools at all. Cats wideout Elvis Akpla will try to do the same. Many evaluators have former MSU standout going as high as the 4th round. The Senegal native says that scouts undervalue him because of coming from a low-profile school, and that the right fit with the right team makes a big difference.
I went to a small school and whatnot. I feel like I'm very underrated in this draft, and going to a team that is going to give me a legit opportunity to compete. You know, a lot of people get into situations where either the position is stacked or they just don't get the chances, that many chances to prove themselves. And you know, I'm a reps guy. You know, the more reps I get, the better I get.
In addition to Johnson and some of the football players that have been in the draft the past couple of years, the University of Montana has many talented athletes that helped bring home multiple Big Sky championships this year. And this week they showed their other talents in the Grizz Got Talent show. Sean Rainey has the story.
Did you know the UM track team could rap?
The Ravens, I rip the page like I'm a master mage.
That's way slowed down. Or maybe tennis player Maddie Murray could play the piano? Perhaps basketball player Tori Hill could juggle, and that football coach / MC Eric Williams definitely can't. but he does say he likes the idea of the Grizz Got Talent show.
I think it's a great opportunity for all the athletes, just to see them that they're more than athletes, that they have different talents.
Kind of a surprise. A lot of people think that we just play sports and, you know, that's what we're here for, but, you know, we do a lot of other things too.
Athletes have many different sides to them besides just playing their sports, and I don't think the public really gets to see it.
This is my favorite part. This is where they cheer.
The public definitely hasn't seen the Lady Grizz like this, as they were dressed up for a skit where the team went to the movies to watch the Titanic.
The Titanic, I love the Titanic, I love the Titanic.
It's a little old grand. We're going to a movie.
I can't wait to
We're
see
going
it.
to a movie. This is my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend.
Some of the student athletes were a little intimidated to participate in the inaugural event, but organizers say they're hoping to get more the next go-around.
All right, couple cancellations got to mention you for tomorrow. Obviously, the Chargers game with the Mavs canceled. Helena Invite track meet was supposed to be all the AA teams canceled as well. Great Falls softball games on the road in Butte and Skyview canceled. And, of course, the tennis invite here in Great Falls canceled as well. We'll find a way to do a sportscast no matter what. That'll do it for sports. We'll be back after this.
That's all for us tonight. Enjoy the snow and enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week.